Good morning, WYXI and Facebook family. This is Julie Miller. I'm a staff member at Women at the Well Ministries, and welcome to today's broadcast of Hope from the Well. And so our guest today is Sabrina Stamper. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
All right, so before Sabrina gets started, I just want to remind you all of some of the things that are going on at Women at the Well. We are still making memory bears. Now, if you don't know what those are where we take some items of clothing from a loved one that has passed on, and we can make a little sweet little stuffed bear out of them. And then it has a paw. On the paw, it has something you can get embroidered, a saying or a sentiment, and those are $40. If you would like to get one started, just give us a call at 423-745-0010. And we would be glad to do that for you. Also, we have our store, New Attitude, at 104 North White Street in Athens. And that is a store that was started by one of our graduates, Miss Stephanie. And it is a place where in the later part of the program, the women can go and get on-the-job training and just kind of reacclimate them back out into the workforce. But it's a wonderful place of ministry in and of itself. We also take donations. They do wonderful things like bag sales that are $15. They can get a lot of clothing in there. And then also some of the staff, some of the interns work there. And then also some of the interns and staff have products that they have made that they sell there as well. And then some people come in just for prayer. So just stop by today and tell them that you saw or heard this program, and you can get 10% off your total purchase. And so we just are going to go ahead and get started. Sabrina, I know that you have such a heart for missions. That's pretty much what this whole show was going to be about today, is missions. And so I was just wondering, where did you get started with your love for missions?
Well, I didn't become a Christian until I was 26, and so I really had no idea the concept of who Jesus was and who God was and how they're intertwined, and then there's the Holy Spirit thrown in there and all that. So I didn't know all that until I was 26, and so I became a Christian once I moved from Cumberland County to Loudoun County with my family. And my very first mission trip, and I think it was maybe 2012, was to Jamaica. And so you would think, oh, Jamaica, but it was around the bottom side of Jamaica. And so we did fly into Montego Bay, where the beautiful blue water is, and you get a little giddy, but then you pick up and go to the other side. The blue water is not there. But it was just as beautiful, and the people were beautiful. And I do and did, don't do so much now, clown ministry.
Yes.
So we clowned while in Jamaica and had fun with the kids and did stuff like that. And then so we went to go visit the children's ward at the hospital. As we were walking through the hospital, which is open there, so the heat of the day is rolling through the hospital. So it's not like it's nice and cool and clean and So I was kind of struck by that too. But in the heat of the day, as I'm standing there looking out a window a couple floors up on the hospital, and I see how beautiful it is, and we had just left one place going to another, and I thought, yeah, this is what peace feels like. I didn't know at the time, but after I got back and was absorbing and thinking about all that happened in that trip and what God did to me there, I was like, this is, because you hear about when people say, oh, it's just the peace of God. Well, what does that feel like?
Right.
Because it's hard, and you're supposed to have peace, and no matter how many well, what can that feel like? And so for me, it was that peace, that knowledge of right there. That's what you are called. That's your purpose. And it was peace, and it was. I knew right then and there that I could do that every day for the rest of my life. So then how do you do that? How do you live a life on mission? Yes. And, do you wait, you only do that one, short-term mission trip, once a year? Mm-hmm. Is it local? Is it national? And, Christ tells us, we're in the Bible, the Acts, we're supposed to go to Judea, Samaria, the outer edges of the world and to the far ends. And so what does that look like? And so what can you do here locally? What can I do right here where I am? And so I can donate. I can go to a local food bank and work, pack backpacks for the kids at school. Can't go, you can give to it if you can, or you can donate when you go shopping. You can pick up a couple extra cans. I consider that as a thing. And then I can go serve at local missions and ministries like Women at the Well.
Yes.
I can go to your Good Neighbor store and donate there. I can go help there. I can help organize. And then there's, you can go, we have schools here. We open car doors.
Yes.
For the kids when they get to school. How great is that you've got a shirt that says, you're awesome, you're important, and you open a car door with a smile. I mean, it's little, but you served that day. I have to serve. Mine is I gotta serve. And so, local, and then, state-wise, we can go there. There's, our church does Chattanooga Children's Home. We have Mission of Hope. That's a local thing. That's Appalachian missions. And so I can serve there. And then, international.
Yes.
I have been to Jamaica, Mexico, Nicaragua, and Guatemala, and I am embarking, going across the big pond to Africa next week. And so a week from today, I will be sitting in airports on the way to Africa with our beautiful sister Imani.
Yes.
And so that's, that to me, that's the ends of the earth is Africa. And I have no idea really what we're doing yet, but that's okay. I'm not supposed to. And missions are very fluid, very flexible, and that's part of your mindset is getting into being flexible, because you can go with I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take this, and we're gonna do this game, and we're gonna do all this stuff, and you get there and they're like, well, actually, the kids are in school, and we can't do that at all, and so you have to change the way you approach your day, and so. But it always works out. It's just the most amazing thing, and so missions do make you flexible.
Yes, they do.
And so, but it's beautiful because you think, oh my gosh, God, I can't do that. That's way outside my comfort zone. I'm only prepared for this, and I studied for this, and I'm only prepared with this craft, and we were only prepared for 50 kids. Now there's 300. What do we do? And it is amazing. I have seen the Jesus Feeds 5,000 on the mission field happen in an instant and unfold before your eyes, and it's amazing. I have had, we're gonna go visit a couple kids, so I put a couple balloons in my pocket, and I get there, and there's 50 kids, and there's balloons endless out of my pocket. They just keep coming, and I'm like, I know I didn't put that many in my pocket, but they're there, and it's just it's been amazing, so living your life on mission, and I think a smile at the grocery store.
Yes.
Because it's free to be kind.
Yeah, and when you go to the grocery store nowadays and you look around, you see how many people just look so sad, and just when you go smile at somebody, you can tell that they're just like, oh, well, thank you, because you don't know what somebody's going through. Yeah,
no, and I mean, that might be the only smile they smile the entire day, or the only one they get the entire day is the one from you. And so, that costs you nothing to be kind and to smile. And it might be, I'm, believe it or not, an introvert. And so for me to go to the store, I have, become bold in trying to talk to that single mom that looks like she's exhausted in front of me, that I'm like, hey, is that orange juice good? I've heard of, so trying to get those conversations going and smiling and interacting, and being calm in a very chaotic world. And so that to me, that starts at home, and then just building on that and planning, planning for bigger trips are a job. Doing the extra things to try and earn money. Used to I would make cakes and those clown opportunities for painting faces at birthday parties. I saved that money to try and get to go on these trips, but it was so worth it.
It is.
Yeah, that's where my vacations are on mission trips now. So
it is, and not everybody is called to go across the seas, But that's the thing, you can contribute whether it's financially or if you don't have the money, prayer. I mean, prayer, that's the biggest thing. Anyone going on a international or statewide, well, just anything really, you need prayer.
And writing cards. I know
Yes.
as a missionary on the field,
Mhm.
those little, we're only a week gone, and you think that's no big deal, but we are outside our comfort zone, and we are
Yes.
eating different things. We're called to have conversations and hard conversations with people, and sometimes it's really hard.
Yes.
It's hard to take that back in and really absorb and put it into words even. And so even a card that says, hey, I'm thinking about you today, praying for your trip. And it's crazy. Sometimes those cards hit right at the right moment when you really need an encouragement from home, or you need encouragement to be brave for the 30 minutes that you have to talk to someone in a broken home or whatever. And so those hit, and that's, cards are awesome. I know Carm, Knox Area Rescue Ministry, the homeless foundation there has, beds. You can do what is it? Every bed every day, and so they put a card that's handwritten, a personal note on a card on a bed every day, and so it,
I love that.
get you a pack of paper, cut that into 4 pieces, and you got 4 postcards. Write a note and just write a prayer, write a verse. Don't know what to say. Just start somewhere with something small, and it's amazing. God will give you the words to write, and pretty soon you'll have pages to give to people. And so but that's easy. That doesn't cost much, other than the paper and the card. Or if you don't even want to do that, you've got notebook, paper, and pads at home. They'll take whatever you can do. Just
I've never remotely even thought about that.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Carm has it's a great ministry, and I know Cleveland has a homeless shelter there, and I'm sure they have a similar program of, somebody's got to wash those beds.
Yes.
Somebody's got to cook that food. Somebody's got to greet at the door. Somebody's got to clean the showers. Somebody's got to put powder on the beds that they do, so that bed bugs don't have a field day in the beds. And so all that they do all that. They take care of that. So somebody has to do that work. And so how awesome is it that you aren't brave enough to talk to somebody, or don't know what to say, all that, but you can go and fold some sheets, put some sheets on a bed, or wash some towels, or whatever that takes. And so
you can do something. Everybody can do something. That's wonderful. Okay, so now I know on the Africa trip, you don't really, like you said, you don't really know much of what is going to happen, but is there anything that you're expecting or hoping?
Well, Pastor John is part of Church Missions Network, and so they do, I know they do, if he hears this, he'll be mad at me that I got it wrong, but they do a feeding program, and it's for kids. And so widows in that area do the feeding program, and they feed those kids. So I know that we're ministering to both sets of what that is, to the widows and helping feed those kids. And Pastor John does a lot of pastor training, so I think that we'll be around for some of that. This is a very short trip.
Right.
We don't have boots on the ground for very long, and so we're not taking a bunch of stuff. And so that's kind of new to me, is to not pack all this stuff that we're ready for whatever, because we don't have that space to take a bunch of stuff. So we're going with smiles on our face and arms to hug and love on some kids. That's what I'm taking.
Yes.
I'm packing my hugs and probably some sunscreen, maybe some burnt.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's what, and I know those things, and I know
Yes.
Imani is going to be sharing. She may not know that, but Imani is going to be sharing some.
Well, she'll
Don't
be
tell
gone by
her.
the time it's aired.
Awesome.
She'll be in Africa when this airs.
Yay! See, pray for Imani. She's going to be sharing her amazing testimony to women who. That's a very similar story.
I know she will love to do that.
Yes.
That is.
And I'm just going as the one that's humble to be in the room, and will pray and just probably cry the entire time. So that'll be me in the back corner.
I'm just
doing this.
I'm ready to see the pictures. I know
Yes.
and to hear what happens.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything in the future that you know of or are hoping is on the horizon?
Well, I know that here at First Baptist we have 10 partnerships or more with mission entities. And so I know that that's happening, and I know that we have next year's Guatemala trip ready to put on the calendar, June 23rd through the 30th. And so as of right now, the Lord is opening a door to do a soccer camp, which is, we've never done that there. I'm very excited about that. We'll be, working on some land to try and get the land cleared to do the camp on. Of course, women's ministry will be happening at the same time. Construction, I don't know about that. Probably a little bit working on the property.
Right.
That's construction. As sweat. Need bug spray. And so I know that that's on the horizon. And that'll open up to people maybe who've never been before. That's a whole kind of a new group that we might get to go, especially college students, high school students, soccer and athletic kids. They would love that. Upward soccer people.
That'll be awesome, because you do see that, across the world, really, that seems to be the sport that you do see children in, that whether they have anything, kicking some sort of ball around.
They are, I have seen multiple times, very rare are they kicking a soccer ball. They're kicking a piece of trash that is wound up with twine, and it's a piece of trash. I've watched them play with lemon. And so that is, I most of us would go into anywhere in our house, and we have a basketball, several of those, one deflated, one that's has the kids' colors. There's a soccer ball, there's a baseball, there's football, there's Nerf footballs. I mean, there's just and they don't have one. So we'll be taking some soccer balls. So if you have some soccer balls to donate that are flat,
that's right.
Take them.
First Baptist, Lenore City.
First Baptist, Lenore City, yes. And so we do. I know that we have a couple more that we would like to go on. We have one that is going to Asia, an area that we can't say out loud.
Right.
And so we have some of those that are going. I know that we do missions in Montana, and so a lot of that is just undergirding some ministries that are happening there, helping them with camp. It's like a camp for kids to come, and so working on the camp, taking care of, down in some trees, some buildings reinforced, painting, tiling, and those kind of things. We've been doing that. I believe Alaska may be in the works. I'm not really sure.
That's awesome.
Kind of the same thing as Montana. Pastor John served in both of those areas, so he's got some relationships established, and so he knows that we'll go there probably.
Well, we're out of time today, but I just want to thank you so much for sharing. I can't wait to hear about what all the Lord has done and will do, and just when you were talking, it made me think of the Bible verse, that we make plans, but the Lord determines our steps.
Yes.
And so that's what missions is, pretty much.
Yes.
We plan it out, but He's the one that's in control, and He will make it better than anything we could ever think.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you all for tuning in and your constant support of this ministry. And I just want to remind you, if you have Jesus in your life, you will always have hope. Thank you.